Before Messi and Ronaldo, there was a superstar so special that people called him a phenomenal. He was like nothing anyone had seen before, and his name was Ronaldo Nazario. Skillful, effortlessly elegant, he is your favorite player's favorite player.
Who was the one player that you idolized watching growing up?
Where I came from, we were watching a lot Ronaldo the Phenomenal.
Who is the best player you have played with or against in your career?
Sans hésitation, Ronaldo.
Without hesitation, Ronaldo.
I mean, Ronaldo will always be for me on top there because...
Even Jose Mourinho, who is Portuguese and has coached Cristiano Ronaldo, says he would pick the Brazilian Ronaldo.
Ronaldo Nazario, the best Ronaldo ever.
So in this video, we'll talk about Ronaldo's prime years and how he achieved football immortality at such a young age. Ronaldo burst onto the football scene at Cruzeiro, making his professional debut at just 16. In just 2 seasons at Cruzeiro, Ronaldo scored an outstanding 44 goals in 47 games, an incredible output that earned him a spot in Brazil's 1994 World Cup squad at just 17 years old. Despite not playing a single minute in the tournament, he returned from the USA as a world champion. While Ronaldo had already made a name for himself in Brazil, he also had his fair share of admirers from overseas. And following the advice of his Brazilian teammate and Seleção legend Romário, Ronaldo moved to PSV, a move Romário himself had made when he first ventured into Europe. And you'd think that moving to a completely new league at just 17, Ronaldo would struggle, or at least need some time to adapt. But that wasn't the case at all. In fact, this is what sets Ronaldo apart from many modern legends of the game. His prime years began when he was just a teenager. He scored a goal on his debut, a brace in his second game, and a hat-trick in his third. Leverkusen's Rudi Völler, taken aback by Ronaldo's hat-trick, said after the game, "Never in my life have I seen an 18-year-old play in this way." And for those who suspected his early game output was a fluke, Ronaldo silenced the doubters by scoring a whopping 35 goals in 36 appearances for PSV that season. Mind you, he was just a teenager in his first season in Europe. These are the kinds of numbers you expect from a seasoned veteran. And the greatness of Ronaldo extended beyond his goals. He was a complete footballer. He possessed qualities rarely seen in a single player: blazing speed, physical strength, incredible agility, insane dribbling skills that terrorized defenders, and a deadly strike that left goalkeepers with little to no chance. The whole world was in awe of the teenage sensation, and some of the biggest clubs around Europe were already plotting to snatch him away from PSV. However, Ronaldo ended up staying for another season. This was also the first time Ronaldo's struggle with injuries began, which sidelined him for more than half of the season. Despite the setback, he managed to score 19 goals in the 21 games he was fit for. The silver lining was that he won his first trophy in Europe, lifting the Dutch Cup with PSV. After that season, PSV couldn't hold on to him for much longer, as Barca and Inter battled it out for his signature. Eventually, Barca succeeded in acquiring the Brazilian sensation, splashing out a world record fee for him at the time. And just like at PSV, Ronaldo started his chapter at Barcelona with a bang, scoring 2 goals on his debut. He continued to dazzle with the Blaugrana, putting on a show week in and week out. His playing style was so flamboyant that the whole of Spain fell in love with him. And no goal encapsulated Ronaldo's utter brilliance more than his solo effort at Compostela, where he dribbled past 5 players to slot the ball into the back of the net. In everyone's eyes, there was no question who the best player in the world was. It was the dazzling 20-year-old Brazilian. His 1997 FIFA Player of the Year award further reinforced this notion, making him the youngest winner of the award. It was a consolation for missing out on the 1996 Ballon d'Or by just a single point a month earlier. Ronaldo finished his debut season at Barcelona with a staggering 47 goals in 49 games, 34 of which came in the La Liga alone. For comparison, Messi achieved his first 30-plus goal season in the league aged 22, and Cristiano did so at 23, while R9 accomplished this feat at just 20 years old. Most would argue that Ronaldo's debut season at Barcelona was him at the peak of his powers, before any of the injuries that would later change the course of his career. After his incredible debut season where he also won 3 trophies, Barca moved swiftly to offer him a new and an improved contract to secure his future at the club and fend off interest from other clubs. However, talks broke down, and Ronaldo controversially made the switch to Internazionale. Inter under Moratti activated his release clause, making him the world's most expensive player for the second time, a feat previously achieved only by Maradona. While he didn't score on his debut like he did at Barcelona and PSV, Ronaldo's prolific form continued in the Serie A. He scored 34 goals for Inter that season, including a magnificent goal in a 3-0 victory over Lazio in the UEFA Cup final. Ronaldo was awarded the Ballon d'Or midway through the season, becoming the youngest winner in history. After securing a major trophy with Inter that season, Ronaldo flew to France with the hopes of securing another, this time the World Cup with the Seleção. Every Brazilian looked to him to carry the team to the final, and that was exactly what he did. Ronaldo scored 4 goals en route to the 1998 World Cup final, where the host nation France, spearheaded by Zinedine Zidane, awaited. The French team trained specifically on how to stop Ronaldo, though many of them knew it was almost impossible to contain him once he unleashes those dazzling step-overs. But behind the scenes there was a lot going on regarding Ronaldo's availability for that final, which I won't cover in this video. If you're interested, I have made a separate video on that and I'll link it in the description. After much discussion, Ronaldo was able to play in that final, but it was France who claimed the victory with a brace from Zidane and a goal from Petit. Despite this, Ronaldo was awarded the tournament's Golden Ball for his fine display at the World Cup. By the following season, Ronaldo faced some issues with his knee, but still managed to make 19 appearances in the Serie A, scoring 14 goals. In the summer of 1999, Inter signed Christian Vieri from Lazio for a then world record fee, and the prospect of him and Ronaldo forming a deadly duo sparked hopes among Inter fans. However, those hopes were quickly crushed when Ronaldo ruptured a tendon in his knee during a game against Lecce. It was a very serious injury that led him to miss almost 6 months. In April of 2000, Ronaldo returned to the squad that faced Lazio in the Coppa Italia final. He was subbed in during the second half to a warm applause from the whole stadium. Just 6 minutes into the game, Ronaldo attempted his famous step over, but without any contact, he fell onto the grass and cried out in agony. If the injury 6 months ago was scary, this one was horrific. His physio Nilto Petroni stated, "His kneecap actually exploded. It's the worst football injury I have ever seen." It was later determined that the injury was far worse than initially assumed, and there were even doubts if he could ever play football again. Nilto Petroni later reflected on Ronaldo's rehabilitation, saying, "One day in the middle of the night he called me and asked, 'Tell me I'm going to be able to play football again. Please don't lie to me.' I was there at the beginning of his rehab when the whole world was saying that he wouldn't be able to. The science said it was unlikely, and the doctors had doubts." Ronaldo was sidelined for 523 days, but somehow he made his return in the 2001-2002 season. The injury had cost him the explosiveness that made him a terrifying force on top of his other skill sets. Even after his return, he suffered another setback, this time with a hamstring injury that sidelined him for 3 months. The guy just couldn't catch a break. He only managed 10 Serie A appearances that season, yet he scored a remarkable 7 goals. Then came the 2002 World Cup, where Ronaldo proved he was a once-in-a-generation talent. Despite his horrific injury and doubts about whether he would ever play football again, Ronaldo showcased a prolific form rarely seen at a World Cup, scoring 8 goals in the tournament. 2 of those goals came in the final against Germany, securing a 2-0 victory in Brazil's 5th World Cup title. He was on top of his game again, delivering what can be considered one of the greatest injury comebacks in football history. And his Ballon d'Or win that same year further cemented his status as football's pinnacle. But Ronaldo before and after the injury were 2 different players. Before his injury, Many would place him on the Mount Rushmore of football alongside Pele and Maradona. He was truly a phenomenon. That injury remains one of the biggest what-ifs for many football fans.
The best football player I have ever seen on a pitch. I think injuries killed a career that could be even more incredible, but the talent this guy had with 19 years old here, Ronaldo Nazario, something incredible.
But even after losing his explosiveness, the post-injury version of Ronaldo was still one of the greatest footballers. You don't have to take my word for it. Just listen to how his ex-Real Madrid teammates talk about him.
For me, Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, has been from a different species.
I was especially impressed with him during training. He had such an ease with the ball. It was quite disconcerting and sometimes even irritated people.
It's Ronaldo from Brazil, Brazilian Ronaldo. He's the best player I've played with. The goal I scored against Fulham was for me an exceptional goal. For him it was more of his standard, you know. Yeah, that's crazy. His natural ability was far beyond anything I've played with.
This is why many of the great players looked up to him, and he would always have a special place in the hearts of those who watched him dazzle on the football field. Ronaldo's legacy transcends his injuries, cementing his place as an icon in the world of football.